Hey guys, so before we begin, I just want to say that this is a longer video than usual due to a very long call in the middle of it. Regardless of that, I hope you still enjoy this episode of the story of ghosts. Also, as I mentioned in my last video, I now have a Patreon where you can show your support for this channel. Please become a patron if you'd like to see more of these videos and others in the near future. Thank you.
Anyway, folks, it's about that time, folks. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's Radio Graffiti, baby!
Ghost. Arguably, one of the most mysterious political personalities to exist.
614, Radio Graffiti.
Ghost, when World War III hits, come to my bunker. We'll have a three-way with Alex Jones. It'll be totally legit. Oh my.
God damn it, you!
Despite years of trolling and harassment from various individuals and groups, nobody has ever figured out who he is. All we can do is guess, based on the information we have discovered.
000, I'm a Jew. I'm not a Jew! Damn it! Damn it! I am not a Jew!
His activities on the internet have been followed by thousands upon thousands in some form or another since the late 2000s. What made him famous? What keeps us fascinated? Who is this man? This is the story of Ghost. On September 1st, 2008, the news came out that Sarah Palin's daughter, Bristol Palin, was pregnant. Because she was only 17 going on 18, controversy soon ensued, and Ghost was quick to attack the next day when episode 63 of True Conservative Radio was broadcasted. The description reads as follows. Sarah Palin's loose teenage daughter is pregnant and Republicans are calling it beautiful. Feminism continues to ruin America. Call into us and tell us your thoughts on this immoral activity being embraced by the former party of conservatives. It was clear to his listeners, both serious and trolls, that Ghost had renounced most of his faith in the Republican Party due to these developments. During this episode, Ghost would get a call from area code 810 with no response from the caller, annoying him.
We got another caller here from the 810 area code. You're on the air. Hello, 810. Hello, 810. You're on the air. Well, unfortunately, 810. I guess I don't know. They're idle or what's happening. We kind of lost 810 there. But if you happen to have an opinion about it, please 646-652-4869. We want to hear from everybody out there. This is a serious issue. This is some serious garbage going on in the political arena, folks. I mean, conservatism is on the back burner. I think we got 810. Hello, 810. Put them on. Hello, 810. You're on the air. Hello. Well, 810, just, there's something wrong with your phone or something there, pal. But anyway, folks, I'm not going to sit here and palate this, all right? And if you want to palate it, that's your problem, all right? But if we lose the conservative base, all right, if conservatism becomes somehow an isolated ideology or becomes almost on the brink of endangerment, I think that what alternative do you have? You either have the far left fringe, which, wants to, just abort babies like they're going out of style, that think that teenage pregnancy is somehow equated to liberation. If you want to embrace, feminism and how feminism is equating woman liberation with women being sexual promiscuous, and you want to, sit here and embrace feminism who embraces and equates woman liberation with women having 5 or 6 different divorces. I mean, because of feminism, people are changing divorces like they're changing dirty, shitty, skid-marked underwear. And let me tell you something, folks, I'm not going to contribute to that, and I'll be damned, all right? I'll be damned if I'm going to contribute to the moral degradation of society. I will be damned. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And what do you do, folks, as a conservative? Well, all I can suggest, and this is what I'm doing on my local level and what you should be doing on your local level, you need to go with a grassroots campaign try to find as many conservatives that think like you in your local community and try to influence your city government. Try to influence your state government. Try to elect pure, true conservative politicians. Try to initiate conservative legislation. Because the presidency is gone, folks. And if we elect John Turncoat McCain as the president and, sit here and palate this Sarah Palin teenage pregnancy garbage, we're redefining the root foundation of the Republican Party, and conservatives are no longer going to be wanted in that party, folks. I'm telling you this right now. I mean, if you're a conservative and you're holding your nose and you're going to go and vote for John McCain, you are contributing to the precedent being set that now Republicans are open to these bull-dyke, muff-diving, hairy armpitted feminists. And I'll be damned if I'm going to contribute to that.
After rant about the state of the Republican Party, Ghost picks up an 810 again, only to once again be met with silence. Ghost accuses 810 quote-unquote playing with his pecker shaft, which would become a common statement. These types of calls will later be termed as Helen Keller deaf mutes by Ghost.
I'll be damned. Anyway, 810, you're back. Are you on the air this time? Well, guess not. I'm going to have to just ignore you the next time there, 810, because you're just sitting there playing with your pecker shaft, or you're probably some stupid feminist that's trying to agitate out here. But I'm used to that. I'm used to liberal agitators calling me up, trying to spew off all kinds of nonsense, trying to skew the direction of my show. But these are important topics. And let me tell you something, folks. I am blogging about this. Please get back to the blog. It's right there in the chat room, ipolitic.net/ghost. Please get back to the blog, bookmark it, add it to your favorites. Please comment on it. You don't necessarily have to sign up, but I urge you to sign up to that political community, because if you happen to be a conservative, sign up there, blog, post on the forums, do whatever it takes. Don't let these damn liberals and feminists hijack the Republican Party anymore.
Episode 64 would air on September 9th, and would once again feature Ghost criticizing the Republican Party for trying to downplay the teenage pregnancy of Bristol Palin. By now, Ghost renounced any faith in the presidential election, and urges followers to focus on local elections and state races instead. Episode 65, aired on September 16th, would revisit the topic once again. He also would discuss the bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers, a global financial services firm that dealt with investment banking, equity, and fixed income sales and trading, especially U.S. Treasury securities, research, investment management, private equity, and private banking. The collapse of the company sent shockwaves throughout the global economy that would be felt for weeks afterwards. Episode 66, aired on September 26th, will be the last episode of September. In it, Ghost demand that bailouts of corporations cease, and that the money instead be sent to small businesses to better help average Americans. Episode 67, aired on October 3rd, would see Ghost formally sever all ties to the Republican Party, announcing that he has renounced his membership in the party due to the McCain-Palin ticket.
This is a very special edition of True Conservative Radio. It is October 3rd, 2008, and I'd like everybody to mark this day on their calendars or on their planners, or write something down on a damn piece of toilet paper and put it on your darn refrigerator or something of that nature, because let me tell you something, folks. America is going down the damn tubes. Now, we're going to get into all that in just a second. I just want to let everybody know that I'm not going to be taking any calls on this show. It's only going to be an hour long, because I think that there needs to be things said. And frankly, I don't want to get any calls from a bunch of left-wing, long-haired, bedwetting hippies, a bunch of liberals. And I don't care what they try to disguise themselves as. I don't care if they try to claim they're conservative. I don't care if they try to claim that, they're somehow a part of the conservative movement, or they're trying to call themselves Republicans. Whatever they're trying to call themselves, it's all liberalism. And I think it's very important that we discuss these subject matters, because let me tell you, in my view, I think that America's going down to a new depths that, frankly, is kind of frightening me. But you see, what's unfortunate right now, folks, is most of America are too stupid to understand the seriousness of the situations that are taking place right before our very eyes. And you see, that's another reason why I don't want to take any calls this afternoon, because I know I'm going to have a bunch of jerk nuts flapping their little mealy-mouthed gums at me with absolutely no substance whatsoever because they're maintaining loyalty to a damn party that sold them out a long time ago. So I'm not going to go ahead and take any calls whatsoever. This is a spontaneous edition of True Conservative Radio, and frankly, folks, this is straight talk. You have this scumbag, prostate-infected John McCain over here trying to talk all kinds of garbage about being Mr. Straight Talk out here, but if you do a damn YouTube search, you'll find him talking out 3 or 4 sides of his damn mouth. It's just disgusting, folks. It's disgusting what the Republican Party has turned into. It's disgusting what America's turned into. I mean, we are bowing down to feminism. We are bowing down to liberalism, and it seems like everybody's just having a damn field day about it. It seems to me like everybody is just thinks it's gravy, thinks it's a great idea or something. Let me tell you something, folks. If you care anything about this country, you better damn wake up, all right? Give yourself a damn smelling salt and shove it up your nostril or something so you can wake your ass up, because what's happening here in America is just ridiculous. I never thought I'd see the greatest country on the face of the planet just literally flush itself down the toilet. And that's exactly what's happening, folks. Now, as I begin this program, I wanted to talk about the infamous vice presidential debates that happened last evening. This ridiculous circus sideshow of a presidential election had more people tuning into the damn vice presidential debates than the actual 2 morons that are actually running for president. And let me tell you something, folks. When I was watching this vice presidential debate, I was sick. All right? I was disgusted at the fact that you got this stupid Eskimo bimbo out here. This stupid airheaded bimbo that's out here flapping her mealy-mouthed gums and not saying one bit of substance whatsoever. And you've got my former party, the Republican Party. You've got these morons creaming in their pants, for Christ's sake, and trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do, trying to justify the dumbing down of the Republican Party. They're trying to justify the dumbing down of America. They're trying to justify this stupid Eskimo bimbo. They're trying to say, oh, she's great. She's only throwing us back, what was it, 150,000 years in human evolution. But oh, no, she's great. It's stupidity, folks. It's what it is. I mean, this is what's happening to America, and I cannot believe that America is just sitting there tickling their ass cracks, thinking that it's just a great day out here. It's not. It's not a great day. Our country is being flushed down the toilet, and we're worried about some stupid Eskimo bimbo seeing if she can construct a complete sentence together. I mean, this is what America has turned into, and let me tell you something, folks. You look at yourself in the mirror. I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent. I don't care what you call yourself. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and you need to blame yourself for not doing a damn thing about it. This country is going to go down the tubes. We're no longer going to be a superpower. You've already got all kinds of countries trying to take pop shots at us, trying to thumb their nose at us. I mean, we've discredited ourselves out here in the international community. And you got the Republican Party. My former party. I hate to say that now. I mean, as you can see the crackle in my voice, I mean, I'm ashamed to admit that I'm a damn former Republican. Because we have bowed down to feminism and liberalism, folks. That's exactly what we're doing. As a matter of fact, I usually have my shows on later in the evening. But I decided to have it right now because I wanted to have it in conjunction with that stupid broad that tries to call herself a conservative here on Blog Talk Radio. These heading right Nimrods. This is just disgusting. It really is, folks. I'm sick, man. I love this country, damn it. I love this country. This is the greatest country on the face of the planet, but we're flushing it down the toilet, and you're not doing anything to stop it. You should be ashamed of yourself, all you people.
Episode 68, aired on October 7th, would see Ghost lash out at a variety of targets, with his description reading as follows. The American public sucks. Ghost goes off on everyone. anti-feminism, anti-liberalism, anti-Palin, anti-McCain, anti-Obama, anti-bailout. Pure, true conservative radio for 2 hours. Call in if you have the guts. Ghost would be even angrier than usual in this episode, as heard here.
I love this country, damn it. I love this country, and like I said, I am not going to let this sucky American public, all right, this ignorant American public take the damn country down the tubes because either they're too ignorant to understand the whole mechanism of government or just don't care. I mean, don't you understand, folks, that most of these people out here don't care? That they're more worried about the next rodent that's going to be on the crotch of Paris Hilton than they do about what in the blue hell is going to happen to America. And I can't stand it, folks. I can't stand it. It doesn't matter whether you're left-wing, right-wing, Republican, Democrat. It's all liberalism and feminism, and it makes me sick. It makes me sick because I'm a conservative, damn it! I'm a conservative! I don't like all this sexual depravity open out here in America. I'm not happy with the fact that single parents are the majority of the day. I don't like the fact that we've got sexual promiscuousness just running rampant throughout our teens, throughout the American general public. I don't like the fact that we've got the mainstream media just showing us bombardments of images of sexual depravity, violence. I don't like the fact that we are bankrupting our own selves out here. I don't like the fact that we are so stupid we can't read the writing on the wall, for Christ's sake, you idiots! I just don't understand it, folks, and let me tell you something. If you happen to understand it, if you happen to be on the ignorant wavelength that the rest of the American public is on, by all means, you give me a call and tell me what in the hell is going on here. You tell me what's going on here, because I sure as hell don't know what's going on. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. And let me tell you something, folks. I know I'm getting huffy and puffy here. I know I'm screaming. I know my blood pressure is probably going through the roof, folks, but I care, damn it. Don't you understand that? I actually give two rat's asses. I'm not out here, trying to, push any kind of agenda other than being a damn conservative. I mean, if you listen to any one of these idiots out here, whether it's idiots on the Blog Talk Radio Network, whether it's idiots on talk radio, whether it's morons flapping their fat Cheeto-stained fingers on the keyboard on the blogosphere, these idiots aren't talking anything that affects you and I, folks. They don't care. That's why I'm saying these people don't care. They don't care about America. All they care about is their own selfish interest, folks. And we need to stop thinking this way. We need to start as a society, as an American civilization, start understanding that we need to start implementing American principles back in America.
Episode 69, aired on October 13th, would see Ghost declare that socialist America had been born to liberalism, feminism, and the stupidity of the American public. This would be another short show, clocking in at only 46 minutes in length. Episode 70, aired on October 26th, would be the last episode of October. It would feature Ghost taking a call from an unknown area code from an individual named Vader, who claims to be a corporate socialist. The discussion takes up almost the entire hour-and-a-half episode.
You can get back to me at my website at ipolitic.net/ghost. That's ipolitic.net/GHOST, folks. And you can get back to me and we'll see what's happening. Hopefully you're a true conservative. If you're a bedwetting liberal or a muff-diving feminist, well, get the hell out of the way. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take a caller here. Let me see if we can get these people on the air here. Hello?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right, and you? This is Vader.
Vader?
Yes, Vader.
Okay,
Vader.
Vader.
I was hearing your ranting about conservatism, and your conservative nonsense is over. I'm a corporate socialist, and we will have your children
and we already do. Because of the great Gloria Steinemann's feminism, we destroy the little people's families and make them bow down to the rich. While they get peanuts, we are king.
Wait a minute. Now, what are you? Are you some sort of a wealthy person or something, or is that what you're trying to convey to the audience here? That you're some sort of wealth or some crap?
Does it really matter? It doesn't change anything for the little people, and they don't.
So are you a little person?
I'm not a little person.
You're not a little person?
I'm higher middle class.
You're higher middle class, so wouldn't that technically make you a little person?
Well, not in the hierarchy. I'm a lot higher than the little people that want to work for little, places just to get by and shit out 6 kids, and their children will join the military. And I'm not sugarcoating shit. That's good for them. They need a purpose, or they need to go. Especially the Mexican children.
Well, let's not get racial here, all right? I mean, you're a caller. We don't want, this show to get taken off the air by the Blog Talk Radio censors out here because some bona fide moron is a racist now.
Okay, I'll keep it clean then. But you know what I mean.
What you're telling me is that, well, I don't know, what exactly are you telling me?
I'm telling you that the age of the American dream is over. They've had their chance, and now they have to suck it up and work to die. Work to get my pockets fatter. And they don't seem to care. You can see as nobody calls in because they really don't give a rat's ass about their children. They want peanuts. And they're happy with it.
So, no, now look, I don't know if you're a prank caller, I don't know if you're real, but let's just go with this, because let me tell you, I've been hooping and hollering about these damn American people not doing the damn thing, so I'm going to roll with this. So what you're saying to me is that these people out here in America are working to die, quote unquote, and that's your quote.
Well, you give me another reason why they're working. They're working to chase a dream that doesn't exist. And they had the opportunity to make this last a long time, and they just gave it back to the bank. So it's either, if you can't beat them, join them, or go into the jungle. And that's it. And you can see Mr. Ghost. I don't know you or anything, but you're ranting and raving is useless because these people are useless.
Well,
They've been given a purpose at the age of globalization. Without the purposes of the age of globalization,
now, wait a
they
minute.
would be running around
I don't
eating tacos
believe that people are.
fried
I don't
chicken.
believe. Excuse me. I don't believe people are useless. All right. Now, granted, I think that the majority of the American public sucks right now. But the reason I think that the majority of the American public sucks is because of their lack of intellectual insight about their political government that actually dictates what happens in their lives. And I think that the reason that they don't inquire about their government or even have the slightest idea about what their government's doing to their lives is because these morons are being anesthetized with a feminized and liberal education in the government-funded education system. And what's unfortunate is that they don't teach you how to participate in your government in this public education. All they teach you how to do...
It's a parental responsibility. Why don't the parents teach their children?
Well,
the parents pick up a book and teach their children? They don't care. They have daycares, and now they have adult daycares. Instead of work release, when you're in jail and you have to get work release to go outside and, start a life with it, they're a work intake. They want the same living. They like the prison life outside of prison. And that's all they are. Paper robots, that's all they'll ever be from here on out. There will be no revolution. If there is, it will be crushed. Because the leaders of this country can crack the planet in half, and there's nothing anyone can do, and nobody cares. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody gives a crap.
Nobody cares. So you mean to tell me that my passion, my fury, and you can listen to a countless of archive segments that I've done on this Blog Talk Radio network. You mean to tell me that all I'm doing out here is blowing a bunch of hot air, and that all these people that are out here, just living, unfortunately, under the influence of feminist and liberal ideology and suggestive thought processes through the mainstream liberal media, you mean to tell me that nobody really cares, that they actually like the fact that, there's women shitting out about 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers, that they actually like the social depravity that we're living in? Are you actually selling me this crap?
They love it like that cheap Popeye fried chicken. They love it. You are a last of a dying breed, and nobody will stand up with you, Mr. Ghosty. Nobody will stand with you. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about their children. They want to. They'd rather try to have a good time on their children's dime. But when they look at their babies in the face, they look at, hey, I'm gonna have a great time because it's gonna suffer. It's gonna suffer, and it will. Look outside. Look at all these young men dying, and I understand. I'm pro-corporate socialism, but you have to understand that what is what is. But these people give their children up for the grabs just for a better living, just for $2 more an hour at their silly job that a robot could probably do.
Okay,
everyone that has family, you care about your family. I understand if you care about your family, you do what you got to do. But these people do not care about their family. They rather see their child go into a military that they know nothing about, just like joining a gang because their friends did it.
Now, look, I'll just go along with this because let me tell you, I had a couple of shows some time back about, the American public's
I've been
ideology.
listening to your shows, Mr. Ghost.
Oh, you've been listening to my shows? Well, I thank you very much. But the problem is that I've tried to fathom the thought process about the American public on why they're allowing themselves just to submit to corporate socialism, why the American public is just not giving two rat's asses about freedoms being taken away from them, and this feminist takeover of people's mentality, the liberal takeover, how our government is selling not only us out, but our great-great-grandchildren out with this $750 billion bailout package. And I tried to fathom this a couple of shows back, okay? Now, you're meaning, and this is what I thought. Now, before you say anything, this is what I thought. I thought that the reason the American public isn't doing anything about the debacle that's happening, not only on the moral front, economic front, political front, but on every single front that is our political and social structure. I said it was one of two things. It was either that the American public just doesn't care, or that the American public actually wants it to get worse. Now, what you're saying to me, and you're saying some outlandish things here. I don't even know your name. What's your name?
Vader.
Oh, yeah,
You
Vader.
call me
I forgot.
Vader.
Vader.
I don't have to say my name in public. You really think that corporate socialist that, promotes these kinds of ideology, you think that, if people didn't know my name, they wouldn't come and stone me, rather than the people that actually created this illusion? Don't you think that some of the people in the mid-level of the hierarchies of these societies know this? But hey, if you can't beat them, join them. And if nobody else cares, hey, what are you going to do? We live in a time where people abort children. They promote homosexuality.
I agree. It's disgusting. I agree.
They don't care about themselves. They go out and throw their babies and mistreat them, and they hit them. And then these CPS and these institutions take their children and raise them for them while they go out to these clubs and bars and associations so they can have a good time, not caring about the next generation. All they need is one generation, and it's already happened, and they still don't care. They've been given a good life, a good opportunity, and all these people had to do was just take it away from them for a little while. Just take it away. And these people have just bowed down because they want a little better of a breath. And let me tell you something, Mr. Ghost, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Now look around you. These are dead people walking. They are dead people walking. They're nothing but lost souls. And when they die, they're going to be here watching waiting, suffering, watching their children suffer because of a silly mistake. They're gonna have that scowl they already have in their lives, in their low level of living, should you say, just for a little can of beans and a can of corn, and to have an extra day that they can go to a restaurant and have a good time. They're selling their children short.
Listen, I understand. I've been yelling about this for a long period of time, that people are just oblivious to all this. But what you're calling, hold on, you're calling and actually advocating this type of activity, though. You think it's a great thing that corporate socialism is taking effect. You actually think it's a great thing.
I'm a Mason, and I'll let it show. And I know it's stupid, but hey, I have to tell you something, man. These people do not care. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about their children. And the game's already over. They've played a game that doesn't exist. The dollar does not exist. It is a paper. They can let it go and do whatever they want. And without the will of the people, nobody has power. But these people willingly give up their children for indoctrination, and robotism is what I call, or zombieism. And they give their children away to these ideas that are completely ridiculous. And if they're going to give those ideas, well, me and the people that are in my inner circle are going to have a great time on their stupidity. And that's because I'm not going to sit here and wallow in the crap with everyone else while everyone's playing a game of Monopoly. They can't win because the rules have already been changed a long time ago, and they don't want to. They don't even care. They don't want to know. They completely are oblivious.
Look. I don't agree with where you're coming from on this. You obviously have a cynical view. I unfortunately have a care for these people. And not just these people, but families, and the American family, and the family unit. I mean, that's the essence of humanity, is family. I mean, if you look back at the most earliest archaeological evidence, it shows that the essence of humanity was family, a man and a woman raising children. And now we're going completely against that because of this ridiculous ideology. Now, I can agree with you to a certain extent. About people being zombies and basically just not caring out here. I mean, these people are dumping their kids off on illegal alien child care providers, or in front of a boob tube, or a damn violent video game, while they're going out hunting and trotting, or trying to become some corporate mogul, or being some single parent. I mean, it's ridiculous about what's happening to our social structure out here. And it makes sense, because I always call these people zombies and, all kinds of other names in the book, because they're not talking, all right? I mean, they're not talking about these issues. Nobody wants to talk about it. You got the mainstream media actually inducing this crap into us. Sexual depravity, sexual promiscuousness, violent acts. I mean, that's all we hear about, for Christ's sake, and it's ridiculous. And I think that what we need to do as American people is we need to wake up out of our stupid, dumb, mesmerized dream out here and start understanding that this reality around us, this matter, everything that's around us right now is real, and we need to deal with it right now, damn it! And I don't understand why nobody's even giving two rat's asses about it. Caller, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm listening to you. And I would have agreed with you maybe 15 years ago. However, it's 15 years too late. If the hippies were bought out, anybody else is going to be bought out. And that's it. All this ranting and raving you have, $2 billion will change more than the United States ranting and raving and all the crying and whining they will ever do. You want to know why? Because the dollar rules their minds. It's like a computer. They've been uploaded. They have information uploaded into their minds, just like a robot. I believe if robots were put into work environments, they would be more useful than these paper robots. We wouldn't really need them at all. Now, there was a time that I actually did care about, children and, their education and the fee, but, it's not an individual's responsibility, it's a nation's responsibility. That's what people don't understand. And if people aren't willing to take the time to teach these children the right way of thought, teach them the Constitution, teach them the amendments, the Bill of Rights, you know, that teach them everything that created this great free society for them, well then, hey, you know, look, why should I do it? Why should you do it? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Nobody's calling in for the principles of moral integrity and a different moral principle, at least for a globalist purpose. They're not doing that. They're not calling in to state their opinions. They're not calling in saying, hey, I'm taking time out of my life, you know, taking time out of my life to make the world a better place. Everything that's good is completely hypocritical because it's governed by economics, which brings out the worst in people. Anybody can be bought off. Everybody is a Judas, and I'm definitely not Christian, but yes, I was born again. Like I said, I do follow, you know, Jesus Christ because he was the servant for Ptolemy the 15th, and he's within the bloodlines of everything I stand for. All these people are nothing, and they're born to be nothing. And they have been given purpose through economics out of their own free will because that's what they want.
You know, it's some
What
interesting.
the people want.
This is some interesting and yet neurotic commentary, but I'm rolling with it here. So you're telling me that people are out here basically selling themselves out?
Nobody will. No, they're selling their children, their babies. You look at these poor little babies. Of course, hey, you have to understand. You know, I've cremated my care, but I have to, because in order to live in an economic society, you have to not care about anybody or yourself. You have to care about the people in your inner circle, and that's it. Because these people, economics, you have to deplete care. You have to deduce humanity, because that's what it is. Economics is just like a real-time artificial intelligence. That's all it is. That's implementing AI in our daily lives. That's all it is.
You're talking as if you know, economics is some sort of social wizardry or something.
You see, that's my point. That's exactly what it is. You ever went to a magician? You know, you see an illusionist on stage, and you wonder how the hell is he doing it? Well, it's not magic. It's nothing special. You know, sure, you know, conjuring of spirits and things like that. That does happen. Even through the leaders of which created this country, yeah, sure, Thomas Edison, you know, Crowley, Cromwell, all these people, yeah, sure, you know.
Well, let's not get too new age here. I don't want to hear any of that new age hooey. You're losing me with the new age hooey.
That definitely is not new age. That is old age, all the way back to the beginning. Now, these people have vowed to an illusion that doesn't even exist. That's not even an illusion. It's right there in their face. I'd understand if it was something supernatural, but this is a piece of paper. And these people don't care. They'll do anything for pieces of paper. And
yeah,
I do that
wait a minute. Now, you see, once again, you're putting yourself and the people that you are supposedly affiliated with on a higher pedestal than the average everyday American person. Are you saying
because
that you...
they are. The idea, the wizardry, makes them God. That's what they don't understand. It makes them God. They can crack the earth. They can clone children. They can manipulate genes on how the outcome of a baby is going to be. If they're going to be better at running or thinking, or they're going to be a genius, white, black. There is no more morals. There's no more natural. You know, natural creation. Everything is artificial.
So, are you one of these people that, you know, and I get this debate from every goddamn liberal long hair that calls me up and tries to flap their little mealy mouth gums in the wind. They tell me that all this garbage about single-parent families being the majority of the day and women shitting out about 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers, that all this is somehow social evolution. And it seems to me that that is exactly what you're alluding to with this commentary, how neurotic as it is, very interesting and kind of entertaining.
Look, it's not evolution. It's wizardry through the free will of the people, through the acceptance of what they want. This was never supposed to happen. This was a takeover. And if you can't beat them, join them. Because there's not a
So, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by just if you can't beat them, join them? Well, what are you talking about?
I was once like you, Ghost. I once gave a shit about people. I once cared for people. I once cared for other people's children. I used to volunteer for children. I used to donate this and that, try to teach children the right ways of thinking, trying to guide people in their daily lives until I realized that they don't care about themselves. All that hard work of trying to change a person's life can be taken away with an iPod, with a PS3.
Well, I've alluded to that many times on the program, but don't you think that all that, notion of being so materialistic is embedded in us through our education system, the feminist movement, liberalism? I mean, this is why the family...
It is because their parents allow it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The family itself has been hijacked by materialism, and the only thing that motivates or should be people's prime directive of motivation in life is to go out and be a money-making machine. I mean, we're not taught to appreciate the simple things in life, like going outside and being able to, take a deep breath of fresh air and going out.
They are pleased to be stupid. They're pleased to be stupid. They are pleased to be stupid. They don't care.
Hold on just a second.
Everybody has a
second.
television.
You're saying that these people don't care, all right? These people don't care, but don't you think that the reason they don't care? Hold your stupid ass, all right? Hold on. So if they didn't care, don't you think that the reason that they don't care is because they had been indoctrinated through feminist and liberal education? I mean, we're born in this world innocent, all right, sir? I mean, it's not as if, we're born to...
What about when they wanted kings? They wanted kings, and they couldn't live without a king. But when the king was being a glutton and enjoying his life, they got upset because they couldn't enjoy their life, and they went and tried to kill him, and they tried to get another king so they could do the same thing again. The people are the problem. The people in the stage where the people have the power, the people have always had the power, but they do not care. They don't care. They do not educate themselves. I mean, for goodness sake, there's a library in every corner where they can, embed all the information they want to overturn the situations that's going on. There's nothing that the people cannot do. But it's everything that the people do not want to do.
Well, there's some credence in that, because let me tell you, these people aren't doing a damn thing about what's going on in America. And what caught me, and the reason I'm keeping you on the horn here, because you're providing some neurotic, entertaining, yet insightful commentary here, because I have tried to conjure up the reason why the American public is just playing with their schlong head, while these damn officials, these power-hungry autocrats in Washington, are selling out their great-great-grandchildren right from underneath their nose. And I'm trying to think to myself, why would they allow something like this? Why would they do something like this and be completely quiet about it? Are you okay, sir? 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 Sir, are you all right? Oh, we're gonna have to put. Are you?
I hear
sir.
Just an ambulance. I took because I own this place. I just went outside to speak to you, so don't speak. Yeah, they're good. They're good worker bees, and they want paper, so you have to pay them paper.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You're not calling me from the hood or anything, are you?
No, it's definitely not the ghetto.
All right, well,
the ghetto.
Like I was alluding to earlier, I mean, I try to understand and conjure up the reason why people are thinking this way, and I've deduced only two thought processes that could be going through people's heads. Either they don't care, or they actually want to see things get worse. And, you're trying to make the debate that they actually don't give two rats' asses. But you see, do you think that the reason that they don't give two rats' asses... Well, hold on. Do you think that the reason that they don't give two rats' asses is because of this damn Gloria Steinem-induced liberal and feminist education system. I mean, that's why our children are becoming a bunch of dumbasses. I mean, you know, right now in this day and age, if the television told them that they could drown a fish, these stupid ass clowns would actually go into their damn fish tanks and attempt to drown a damn stupid fin fish or some crap. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But the reason that people are so stupid, and I know you're cynical, all right? I mean, this is some real cynical commentary that you're providing here. But you have to have a little bit of faith in people. All right? People, their intuitions, I mean, there's a certain intuition that people have. And they know right from wrong. But what's unfortunate is that most of the people here in America and in most westernized countries were being indoctrinated with liberalism and feminism, which dumbs down the people and relinquishes the power of the people into people's hands like the government bureaucrats or the corporate socialists or these pieces of crap that are trying to ruin the American dream for all of us out here, while the American public just sits there on their knees begging for socialism. Now you're telling me...
And they will.
You're telling me that the people don't care, that they're just gonna sit by and watch this happen?
Now, when you look at a mother, and you look at a mother with a baby in her stomach, she's pregnant. Now, that person, every person in this world has a conscience. They have feelings which, you know, they can, a process of deduction of the difference between right and wrong. They have those feelings. They know that killing a child that's inside them is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. But out of their own free will, they give their conscience to depletion, and they go ahead and do what's better for them, not thinking about the life they're about to have, so they can participate in the economic society.
So what are you inferring here, sir? Are you inferring that most people that have children in this modern America don't give a crap about them? I mean, because you've been alluding to this, you know, quite frequently in this discourse here. Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm saying that everything that is good is completely hypocritical. The human race has taken its course a long time ago. Sooner or later, people will be nothing more than chickies on a conveyor belt, and that's it. Out of their own free will, by the way, because they don't care, and they've let their children be indoctrinated with psychotherapeutic brainwashing methods of the electrons and neutrons that are manipulated by the phosphorus which Thomas Edison created to cast the ray tube. And every television of America, they've let these devices of indoctrination and stupidity break into their homes. They've let this happen. They have accepted this. They have accepted this. This is what they want.
So you're saying that all this garbage, hold on, you're saying that all this garbage that's happening here in America, and I'm talking about everything that I've been hooping and hollering about, this is the 70th show, by the way, all right? This is the 70th show. Now, you mean to tell me I've been doing 70 shows on an average about an hour and a half long, and you mean to tell me that most of the people that are listening to this commentary right now, because we got quite a few people listening in, you mean to tell me that these people are just morons and that, you know, they're basically selling their children out? That's what you're saying, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And it's very unfortunate. Like I said, there was once a time where I cared. When a person, a mother, a beautiful mother, a human being, you know, with conscious and cognitive reasoning and thought process, able to decipher wrong from right, like no other animal in this that we know of can do so. They have completely disregarded the American family, the American dream, the mother, the father, and the child, the only thing that holds us human together in modern day, and they have let it go because these men do not have the balls to teach their women, and these women do not care about anything but what they are indoctrinated with, and they accept it. And even if you told them, they wouldn't care. It's like a woman when she divorces the husband and gets with another man, and he starts beating her, but he pays her a little bit. But he beats her, and she goes with a black eye, and she still says, hey, okay, my life is great. my life is, she'll show it, but it's
Well,
really not.
I've talked about that many times. I've talked about that many times about how the feminist movement has basically
And in the process, they don't think about the child that they had with this other individual, this other male figure, that they should have not made that decision based on their emotions. Remember, this is economics. You cannot have emotions in an economical situation, and in a society of economics.
So, okay, now let me get this straight. Hold on, let me get this straight. You're saying that the whole concept... Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. You're trying to say to me that economics is actually socially engineering society to a point where single-parent families are just going to be the end-all, and that children are just basically going to be raised by the state? That's why we have all these entitlement programs. That's why we have all this welfare and all this garbage. You mean to tell me that's the end result? I mean, because this is what you're saying to me here, and it's I think it's rather neurotic and kind of nutty, but yet entertaining and intriguing commentary. But that's what you're saying. That's what you're alluding to, right? Is that economics is basically socially engineering society to a point where women are basically going to be at will shitting out about 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers. The men are going to be, pussified Richard Simmons pansy asses. And, everybody's going to live under corporate socialism, and everybody's going to like it because they're going to beg for it by their own free will. This is coming out of your commentary that you've been providing here for the past half hour. Am I correct or am I not correct?
What do you think this so-called war is about? Have you ever seen an Islamic individual, an Islamic family come to America and slowly just change their thought process? The woman starts talking, they start losing the burqa, their children become little shitheads, and they become ignorant, arrogant, the TV product. If they were back in Islam, they still have, what they believe in, what their way of life, their culture. But once they hit the economic side of the world, which it will be the whole world, mind you, they change. So if a person that's, participates in the Islamic faith can be changed by a mere piece of paper and a thought, then I would have to say yes. That's exactly what the goal is, to destroy the family, and it has been destroyed. You're right. Single-parent families are the norm out here.
Let me tell you something. There is some credence in what you're saying. Now, I know I've been saying that some of your commentary has been somewhat nutty here, but there is some credence in what you're saying. The American family, not only the American family, but the Western family has been destroyed. 75% divorce rates in Australia, 70% divorce rates in Germany. I mean, it's barely breaking a coin flip out here in America. And let me tell you something. I think they've been cooking the books on those numbers in America as well. But the bottom line is, you're exactly right. The American family has been destroyed. I mean, if you happen to be a person who's still with the first person you married and have children exclusively with the first person you're married, people look at you like you just farted on their Sunday dress in church or some crap. I mean, this is the new America that we're living in here, and I don't understand, and nobody's asking any questions about it. I'm the only one here on the Blog Talk Radio Network that even talks about these subject matters, and people look at me cross-eyed. People look at me like I just kicked them right in the damn nuts or something, right in the damn gonads. They don't even know what in the blue hell I'm coming from. But the bottom line is that the
greatest thing to fear is fear itself, my friend, and these people are afraid. They're afraid of everything. They walk down the street, they're afraid. They're afraid they're going to lose their houses, their family, their children, everything they stand for, ever work hard for. They are afraid. There's nothing that they're not afraid of. They're walking around quiet. They shut up and they know their place. There's nothing that will overturn their thought process, because it's not that they don't care. They're afraid to speak up. And by being afraid to speak up, eventually you cease to care.
So everybody's afraid to speak up. That's why nobody's out here providing any kind of decent political commentary, social commentary. You've got jagoffs on the Blog Talk Radio Network.
It has nothing to do with what's wrong or right. What is wrong or right? Is it right to teach your family the right things rather than the robotic economic paper zombie society that we live in? Why do you have to wear short shorts and a short shirt to jog around? Why do you have to drive and keep up with the Joneses? Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to
Because
go
of
to
the social wizardry in your statements. It's because of the social wizardry of economics. According to your argument is that economics itself is being the social puppeteer of all the degradation of America and the sexual promiscuousness, the sexual depravity, the violence, teen pregnancies, and all the other social ills that have become the social norms. I mean, according to your debate, let me tell you, I'm not arguing against it, but according to your debate, it is economics that is the root of all. I mean, and there is
debate.
And there is credence in that, because let me tell you, economics in most idiots' lives in America, and I'm talking about 95%, probably more than that, in their lives, economics takes precedence over their own liberty, and it's disgusting.
These people sell their rights for $1. They are so used. They're so used to, consequentially, they're so used to this dollar, this dream, this peace, that they will never stand up for what is right. They just want to cruise along while everybody takes their rights and put them down the toilet. They don't care.
Well, what about the children? You know, I mean, after all this, what about the children?
What about the children?
What about the children?
You know, and my life of observation, because that's all we are. He who controls the eyes control the mind. Like Timothy Leary said, we're looking through a glass window. That's why everything we know of is in first person, not in third. We don't see ourselves, but through a mirror. We're all observers, and we're all observing someone else's perception of a perspective. We are just nothing but a perception of somebody else's dream. Everybody accepts it. They just want to live together, and I'm sure everybody does want peace. I'm sure that's what they want, but it's at a higher cost than you can imagine. It's at a higher cost. These people lose and have lost their individualism. They have lost their babies. They have lost everything they stand for. They have lost their families. They have lost every love, care, feelings. They have given up their conscience, their minds, and now their bodies. They've given up their bodies.
Well, it's unbelievable, you know, and let me tell you, I know that you're cynical and you're saying that, hey, you know, we're going to hell in a handbasket, that's all there is to it. Let's just go ahead and bow down to it. Let's bow down to liberalism and feminism. Let's bow down to the moral degradation of America. Let's bow down to all this moral depravity and all this crap. But let me tell you something. Well, I just can't bow down to it, Vader, or whatever your name is. I just can't bow down to it. I mean, you see, I'm a conservative, damn it. I mean, I believe in the conservative ideology. It's conservatism that, you know, made the society so peaceful at one point in time in American history. And I think that we need to go back to conservative principles out here. And, you know, I have all these liberals, and especially these Republicans that are trying to call themselves conservatives, that are trying to call themselves Republicans out here. They're nothing but a bunch of bedwetting liberals, liberal long hairs. If you're for damn John Turncoat McCain, you're a damn bedwetting liberal, and I ain't afraid to say it. I'm not for any of these people for president. But the
it doesn't matter because all those people are related. These people don't even know the start, and they have no idea where it's going to end. It is going to end in a movie worse than any grotesque, horrid, low level of feeling ending that you can ever imagine. And this is real life. They might as well stop looking at their screen and start suffering. And you're right, conservatism was the best part of what we used to stand for. It truly was. But however, it comes a price to be a conservative nowadays. And that price is letting go of the ideology of the American dollar, of everything that stands for America, because it's not America anymore. It's nothing but a corporation. Nothing but a corporation filled with robots and empty promises and empty dreams. But everyone will accept chump change and peanuts just to get by, just to feed their children. They give up their lives and their conscience and their minds just for their child's body to be safe. But they don't know that their bodies are going to suffer and their conscience is going to suffer even more just by doing this. they have no idea what's going to happen to them, and they don't care at this point.
Well, you know, you seem to have a lot of insight, and you yourself seem to be talking from the first person now. The only reason that I'm letting this continue to go on is because this is interesting conversation, and obviously I don't get too many callers because people don't have a pair, and they don't want to call up and actually give me their political perspective because they can't debate what I'm debating here.
Mr. Jones, I'm on the other side of your fence, and we're looking at each other. And if there's one thing we both can agree on is the family issue. And I hate to dispute it, you know, because it's over. It's the conservatism, all that. It's just over.
I hate when people say that.
You're one of the last. You're definitely one of the last. There was once upon a time where me and you shared the same views, but I mean, you can't do it nowadays. You can't share that view. I mean, these people just have sold their consciousness. They're sold their cognitive reasoning. They accept the idea of being a robot, a paper robot. That's the prime of their lives. Whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're Chinese, they have destroyed their culture, their religions. Even though religion is ridiculous, but they have destroyed it. They have destroyed everything they ever stand for or cared for. These people will sell their color of their skin just to be able to eat a meal the next day.
Well,
they care about it.
You see, well, what's the damn solution, you know? I mean, we are leaving this damn world to our children, our great-grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren out here, and it looks like a damn world of holy hell. I mean, you've got a deficit out of the wazoo out here. I mean, you got international turbulence. You got, you know, all kinds of social, moral depravity. You got violence, you know, just running rampant out here. I mean, what's the end result there, sir? I mean, I just want your perspective. I'm curious.
Well, when you look at the women, for example, they're supposed to be the mothers of our children. You have something like a Mother's Day and a Father's Day, and yes, I heard your shows. It's something they're supposed to do, and they're being rewarded like it's something they wanted to do out of the goodness of their heart. You're supposed to raise your family. You're supposed to raise your children. You can be rewarded for something that you're supposed to do, and that's just another example of the direction that humanity has taken. I mean, look at the children. I mean, I'm sure there's a big difference from the 60s to now, and everyone is pretty obvious that the age of children being half naked and being, you know, it's gone down to the age of 2. These 2-year-old children are wearing booty shorts and these short leather shirts they haven't even developed yet. And what does that do?
I'm telling you, there's a lot of credence. There's a lot of credence in what you're saying out here, because if you happen to go, and let me tell you, for the folks that are listening, whether live or in the archive, please, during this holiday season, go out to the malls and observe. Observe these teenage girls, not even teenage, what would it, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, that are scantily clad. I mean, it's a damn pedophile's playground out in this sick joint out here. I mean, whatever happened to morality back in America?
They know. They're very aware. It has nothing to do with you telling them to go out. They already know this. But there's nothing they'll do about it because they're afraid.
What are they afraid of?
They are definitely afraid.
Well, what are these morons afraid of to allow sexual depravity in this fashion?
They're afraid of giving up the illusion, which, as silly as it sounds, they are afraid to give up this illusion, this realm that doesn't exist, never existed.
Now, you got some people here in the chat room, and I'm watching. Hold on a second. You got people. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. You've got people in the chat room here saying that, you know, what you're talking is nothing but a bunch of New Age hooey. What I alluded to earlier. What do you have to the people that are sitting there saying this is a bunch of New Age crap about you talking a bunch of gargle about people being hypnotized by the dollar? What do you have to say about that?
It doesn't really matter, because I'm sure in their normal, everyday lives, they have to work to eat. And as long as they have to eat, they have to do something to maintain and get that paper, whether they're brainwashed or not. They'll do it anyway. And there's nothing they can do to stop their children and their children's children from doing it. because I have given up my existence because look at these people. Why fight for them? They don't care. They're sitting there in the chat room saying this is New Age Huey or whatever that's supposed to mean. It doesn't matter what they say because all they have now is complaining. And complaining does nothing. It's like drinking the poison and expecting somebody else to die. That's what they're doing. And it doesn't really matter because they're pleased to be stupid and they're taught to be nothing. And their children will be definitely a mirror image of them. And it doesn't matter what they say to me or what they say to you. What matters is what they say to their children. And they're not saying anything to their children. And that's why they're afraid to tell their children anything. Their children go out and they become a part of society that just wants to swallow them whole. And that's all that would happen. That's all that will happen. I mean, look, these people that are saying this is New Age Huey, apparently they don't read history and where it came from and where it's going. They don't cross-reference. They're not seeing the process of elimination. They don't understand. They don't use their mind. They just sit there and watch television, play video games and movies, and they let the Hollywood of wizardry and revision dictate their lives. So it doesn't matter what they say. This is what I'm saying, and I'm sure you understand that. These people, instead of conversing with themselves, what can we do better? Like John F. Kennedy said, I hate to bring this up, but that's not what you can do for yourself. That's what you can do for your country. They don't even ask what they can do for themselves. They just let the corporations ask what they can do for the American people. And that's why it's RoboCop 2 in modern-day society. Corporations will take over states. People will have to bow down forcefully or go underground or go into the jungle. And my friends, the rule of law has already taken over the law of the jungle. Now it's the biological law that we're taking over. And look at them.
So
I mean,
what are we witnessing here? What are we witnessing here? Are we witnessing the transition? I mean, is this what they talk about when, they talk about these Orwellian type scenarios? In your opinion, you're saying that we are seeing the transition of what we knew of as America, the constitutional republic, free market society, all that.
The 17th Amendment, my friend, the 17th Amendment, the ability to lobby, the Constitution, everything that kept everybody free. They don't understand once the Constitution has gone, their lives are dictated by bequeathed wealth. Their lives are dictated by bequeathed wealth.
Oh, you're staticking up there. You're staticking up there.
Their lives are dictated by bequeathed wealth. He who has the money has the power. If a person doesn't like these people that are saying, oh, New Age Huey, and they know that their lives are in shambles and they need a paycheck to get to the next week, well, all we got to do is say, sorry, we don't need you, we lay you off, and you're on the street. And what are you going to do with your children? You're going to have to leave them with the state, or if they catch you on the street with a child, they'll take them away from you, and you will have no rights and no choice. These people just sit around and say, okay, as long as it doesn't happen to me, I'm okay. But what they don't understand is if they allow it to happen to other people, it's eventually going to happen to them. It's only a process of elimination. It's like giving, this society is like giving 100 people $1 and saying, hey, the next month I want $105 back because of tax that was not printed out, and the Federal Reserve, which overtook America, these entities of international bankers and elitists, which took their lives, put stock numbers on everybody, and then the next month they're not going to have the $5 because it's not in rotation, extra $5, on the 100, and somebody's going to foreclose, somebody's going to lose a house, somebody's going to lose a car.
We get it. All right, now, are you saying capitalism is bad for society? Is that what you're saying, capitalism is bad?
Capitalism is good for rich people. People that can manipulate the lives of, how would you say, the peasantry.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing in your eyes?
I would have to say that, it's a good thing for me, but it's a bad thing overall. It's a bad thing for society. It's a bad thing for what the American people once stood for. But it will be good for me. It will be definitely good for me. People like me will have a field day, and everyone else will suffer. It's not good for them, and I do pity them. I pity them because they have no idea. They let their lives hang in the balance. They let their lives hang in the balance. And there's nothing that they'll do to switch that scenario for themselves. They will not stand up, and they will not go into the jungle. They will not start a new life for themselves. They will not do anything but comply.
Well,
because that's all they know. That's all they know.
Well, it's been interesting commentary, man. I got about 13 minutes left in the program. You want to leave the people with any more side notes? Because I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here.
Okay, from the bottom of my heart, just for a care of humanity, the little that I have left, because I've just completely given up, I suggest that you people listen to this man. Listen to this Mr. Ghost. Or I don't know your name, so I'll just call you by your alias. You people really need to listen to him, because sure, my life will be better, because the more poor people there are, the more money that we have. And what's going to happen is you guys are just going to be mind serfs if you not already are. You definitely all are already mind serfs and debt slaves. And it just goes to show you that people will only wake up at the end, but in real life, there are no continues. There's only game overs, and you have to live with it for the rest of your life and generation to generation to pass. For the sake of your children, all of you really need to tap into yourselves and understand that you are beautiful individuals. You have moral principles, and follow them. You know, put a seal put an adhesive on your family, and stick by what you stand for, because if you don't, it will be the end of your kind, as you know it. And it'll be too little too late.
Well, I want to thank you for calling in, sir. You provided some decent commentary, and I mean, it was interesting, neurotic, and nutty, yet insightful. And I really appreciate it. Thank you for calling up, sir.
All right, have an illumined day.
Well, that was some definite interesting commentary, folks. I really didn't expect that call. I actually thought this was going to be an hour and a half of me ranting and raving, because usually most folks don't have the testicular fortitude to actually get on the telephone and give me a ring out here to give me a piece of their mind, whether they agree or disagree. And it's good to hear that people like this are actually out there, even if it was a neurotic, nutty, yet entertaining and insightful commentary. I decided to run with it. I decided to run with it, folks, because I am trying to understand how the American people can just sit by and they're just on their knees begging. They're pleading for their own socialism. They're like, please, give me another stimulus check. Please, give me some more money, big brother. And I just don't understand. As a true conservative, as a person who believes in the Constitution, as a person who believes in America, I can't believe that I am living in a day and age where this is reality. I can't believe it. And I can't understand how you, as an American person, can sit there and understand that what we're living in, this new corporate socialist America, you were just sitting there on your thumb, not doing a damn thing about it either.
On November 7th, which was Election Day, Ghost broadcasted episode 71 of True Conservative Radio, the only such broadcast for the entire month of November. This would notably be the only time Ghost broadcasted on Election Day until 2016, and the only such occurrence on True Conservative Radio. Right before the episode broadcast, Barack Obama defeated John McCain, becoming the 44th President of the United States. Ghost first takes a call from area code 441, which turns out to be a man from the United Kingdom named James. He alleges that Osama bin Laden was not responsible for 9/11, and spreads largely unsubstantiated 9/11 conspiracy theories during his call.
Anyway, folks, I'm going to go ahead and take a few calls here. The lines are blowing up. Hello, this 441. Are you there? Hello, 4416. Hello.
Oh, he's Ghost.
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you. How you doing?
Not too bad. This is James. I'm actually phoning from the United Kingdom, Ghost.
How you doing?
I try and listen to your show. I listened to you, you know, and you're upset about the Republicans and the way they've gone. But don't you feel that the last 8 years has like took them that way? You know, the last 8 years hasn't really been a badge of honour for the Republican Party.
Don't get me wrong, I can complain. Why do you think I dropped the bastards? I don't have anything to do with them.
Yeah, it's like, can I just read you the quote, what Dick Cheney said on March the 29th, 2 years ago, like 2006. Right. We've never made the case, or argued the case, that somehow Bin Laden was directly involved in 9/11. That evidence has never been forthcoming. Now, forget about Iraq and that, but United States, you've got young guys over there fighting and dying, and they are convinced, and the American people were told that it was to get Bin Laden, and yet here you've got Dick Cheney saying, we never said Bin Laden was involved in 9/11.
Now, do you know the time and date and the source of that particular quote so we can get everything?
It's a White House government release. It's an actual White House government release, 2006.
A White House comment release?
Yeah, you can see him on YouTube saying it as well.
Okay. Well,
but see, what I'm saying is, right, the American people, it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, but they were told, we're going into Afghanistan to get Bin Laden. Now, you can go to Osama Bin Laden's FBI wanted page, and the FBI admit, they actually say to you, he's not wanted for 9/11 because we've got no evidence he was involved in 9/11. Now, what I'm saying is, I'm not going on about conspiracy theories or anything like that.
I was just about to get to that, but go ahead.
Yeah, because the thing is, here you've got Dick Cheney actually saying, we have never said that Bin Laden was involved in 9/11. Now, I've been to the 9/11 Commission report and I've read the summary. You can go through the whole thing, but in the actual summary, in the very first few pages, it says the evidence presented, it's Osama Bin Laden. So you've got Dick Cheney, your vice president, who's like a Republican, saying, we have never said that Bin Laden was involved, and we've never even given evidence. The evidence has never been forthcoming. Now, what's going on? Who do you believe? Where do you start?
Well, first of all, if we would have been a little bit more insightful about our government, we would have at least had a little bit more of an opinion on this. Now, first of all, I disagree with you on that. I think Osama bin Laden had plenty to do with this. He admitted it on several different occasions. He continues to, pop out mixtapes like he's some rap artist out here. All right, I mean, he's admitted to the damn thing. And bottom line is that I agree that we should have went into Afghanistan. I don't think that we should have done the military tactics that we utilized. It should have been more covert. It should have been more black operations and that sort of thing. But what's unfortunate at this time...
What would have your motive been to go into Afghanistan? Because the people, you're convinced that Bin Laden was involved and everybody else is. But there you've got Dick Cheney, your vice president, saying, no, he wasn't. But you've also got the FBI saying they've got no evidence. And you've also got General Richard Myers. He said the goal has never been to get Bin Laden. You've got all these people at the top saying, well, Bin Laden had nothing to do with 9/11. Or should I say, it's not that they're saying Bin Laden had nothing to do. They're saying, in lawyers' talk, as though they were in a court of law, we have never said there was evidence that Bin Laden was involved. And they like covering their asses, But the thing is, the American people were told he was involved. They were definitely 100% told by the government and by the media.
Because he said it, though, James. He said it.
But he never said it. Honestly.
Yes, he did. He said it several times. He praised it. He thought it was a great deal.
He praised it. Yeah, I know. I'm not going along with it. He praised it and he said, I can...
Well, we're going to have to agree to disagree there, James, because, I mean, with all due respect, I'm not out here trying to do some conspiracy theory show, okay? I mean, with all due respect, I respect your opinion. You feel that maybe, Dick Cheney and George W. Bush, remote controlled bombed, or whatever it is that the 9/11 truth people, or whatever you represent. I'm not trying to, misconstrue you, but we don't want to have a debate about that now. We just got a new president who's going to implement socialism in America. We've got, obviously, we've got two wars that we've got to rectify in some fashion. I mean, you know, we've got a lot of situations that we need to talk about out here, and the last thing we need to do is sit here and talk about conspiracy theories, with all due respect, James.
After this, he takes a call from area code 907, a caller from Sarah Palin's home state of Alaska.
907, you're on the air.
Oh, right on, Ghost. How are you?
How are you doing?
Good, good. 907, you know where that's at?
No, I don't. It's not offhand.
Wasilla, Alaska.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir, baby. How are you?
I'm just fine. I'm just chilling here, pretty bitter about the way America's going.
Boy, I tell you what, Ghost, I'm pretty bitter, too. I've been fighting a hard fight for conservatives in my state of Alaska for the last several years, openly and publicly, but 15 years on and off behind the scenes, voting for conservatives, supporting conservatives, and trying to get conservatives elected. So I know where you're coming from, man. I feel your pain.
It's really disgusting where our country's going, both on a social front and basically on an economic front at this point. And I thank you very much for trying to do what you can as an individual who is participating in their government to attempt to facilitate conservative principles on a local level, on a state level, and on any other level that you participated electing anybody in.
Yeah, absolutely. And so as you know, Wasilla, Alaska is the home of Sarah Palin. So I'm pretty familiar with Sarah and her non-conservative agenda. So when you mentioned her earlier and prancing her pregnant daughter across the stage, you hit the nail on the head, buddy. She's not a conservative.
Well, you know what? I'm glad that you're calling in, sir, from Wasilla, Alaska. Did I say that correctly?
Absolutely, Wasilla.
Wasilla, Alaska, because I've been chastised this whole damn campaign by these liberal Republicans out here because I dropped the Republican out of my name, and I saw this Republican Party for what it was. It's blatant liberalism, and I was chastised even more. I mean, I even lost the few females that actually listened to me that were conservative. I lost their vote of confidence because I saw right through Sarah Palin, or Palin, excuse me. I saw right through her. I mean, she is not a conservative. I mean, what conservative instills conservative principles on their family and allows a 17-year-old daughter just to get impregnated like it's no big deal?
Exactly. And let me ask you something, Ghost. If it was Barack Obama prancing his 17-year-old pregnant daughter across the stage that got knocked up by the big buff belt black guy, thug, unscrupulous character walking behind him across the stage, what would the Christian conservatives of this country said and done? What would they have said to Barack?
Well, you know what? They would have had an absolute field day on it, and I'm not trying to take up arms for Barack Hussein and all, but you do have a point with that, because if Barack Obama had a daughter that had the similar situation, I mean, it would have been a travesty to American morality, and believe me, I would have been on that as well, just like I'm on it with Palin here. But what really boggled my mind in this election, and what's going to stand out most with me, and what I'm going to leave with in this election, is that here we actually witnessed Republicans, and these were people that used to chastise teenage pregnancy and other such things. I don't even want to get into the amount of things that these people contradicted their whole principle on in this election, but the one that really sticks with me is justifying teenage pregnancy, especially when we have an epidemic in America where single-parent families are the majority of the day. I think it's a shame, and I think it's sick, and I think that Republicans should be ashamed of themselves, and I think that conservatives, true conservatives, need to do something and organize and create our own party, or do something of that nature, or take over the Republican Party, do something to instill true conservatism once again, because going this liberal route didn't do the Republicans one bit of good.
Oh, it did not. You're absolutely right. And Sarah Palin's a socialist from the word go. She's a socialist from the core. Her tax policies in the state of Alaska are socialistic. Her tax and spend and giveaway policies back to the people of Alaska are pure socialism. Everything she's done, every bit of legislation she's passed, is socialism.
Let me ask you a question really fast. What exactly, have you lived in Wasilla, Alaska all your life?
I have, sir.
Okay.
Well, no,
now,
I grew up in Anchorage, and Anchorage is about 45 miles away. Wasilla is what's called in the valley. It's about 40 miles north. It's kind of a little suburb, cottage community.
I hear you. Well, what I was going to ask you is, are you familiar with any legislation she passed, basically on a city level or on a state level that has impacted you, or you've benefited from, or as your community's benefited from at all?
Well, I've been impacted by legislation that I have
in a positive fashion.
Well, if you consider taxing the only taxpayer in our state, increasing the taxes by 400% on them, and then handing back checks to the people, yeah, I've benefited from that. I got my $1,200 check this year from Sarah Palin and her taxes on industry, sure, just like everybody. But the reality is that 400% tax increase is killing the business. It's killing the only industry that pays taxes in this state, and she's devastating our state economy.
Now, let me ask you one more question. Why do you think the McCain campaign decided to just basically roll the dice with Sarah Palin? What did they see in Sarah Palin that, America didn't see? Or, what is it that the campaign strategists of McCain saw in maybe old clips or old debates or old campaign footage? What did they see that we didn't see? Do you think, since you were, in real close proximity, you're in the hometown of Sarah Palin, so I think that you, if anybody, has a better opinion on it, and that's why I'm asking.
Absolutely. I really think that Sarah Palin was... she was forced on John McCain by the RNC. The RNC saw Sarah Palin as a person who could get the women vote, a person who was articulate and fairly attractive, and they thought that they could get the conservative base and the Hillary women behind John McCain. But what they underestimated and what they didn't realize, because they didn't vet her even a tiny bit, they underestimated her ignorance. The simple fact that she has skated by on her looks alone for the last 12 years in politics.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, she has, if she was mayor of Wasilla, the town I live in, she's mayor of Wasilla, she increased taxes, by instilling a sales tax, which taxes everybody, and then, the rich and the poor alike, and yet gave tax breaks to property owners. Well, that does sound good, but it's still more form of,
it's
social
taxation. Yeah, I was just about to say. Give me a break.
Absolutely. And as a governor in our state, she passed two very fatal bits of legislation called ACES, Alaska's Clear and Equitable Share, and that's the legislation that increased the tax on the oil companies, and it increased the tax on the oil companies 400%. All you have to do is Google ACES and type the word Alaskan behind it, and you can find out all about it. But basically, it's a progressive tax on the producers that has no ceiling. It will eventually reach 100% if and when the price of oil ever goes to $180 a barrel. Hopefully the oil never does go that high, but the reality is it was already $149 just this past spring. In the last 6 months, taxes on the industry were at 84% when the price of oil was $149 per barrel. Industry was prepared to shut down if we got much higher.
And that would have just crippled the economy out there, I could imagine.
92% of our state economy is funded by taxes and royalties derived from the oil industry. So it's everything here. We don't pay income tax. We don't pay sales tax. Our property taxes are very low. Our automobile and those kind of taxes are incredibly low. Alaska's a great place, but if we can't get our budget under control, then we're going to be taxed. To give you an example, Sarah Palin inherited a budget that balanced on $52 a barrel oil. And that was 21 months ago, January 2007.
Correct.
Right now, our state budget needs $88 oil to balance. We have an $11.9 billion state budget. We have almost 35,000 state employees. The state is by far the largest employer, by a factor of 10 to 1 over the next biggest employer. And Sarah had her hand in every little bit of the legislation and the tacking on jobs and increasing the budget. She claims that she balanced the budget. The only reason she balanced the budget was because oil was $100 a barrel. It would have been any lower than 80. Yeah, she's pitiful. I mean, I don't mean to just beat up on her, but the reality is that the pick by the RNC was incredibly stupid. They didn't vet her. They did not ask one person locally. They didn't even pick up a local newspaper for the entire summer months. If they would have picked up the newspaper, the Anchorage Daily News, they would have read the blogs, they would have read the political sections. They would know that true conservatives have been fighting and battling Sarah Palin and her administration all summer. But they didn't. They didn't care. They thought pretty face. They thought, this is the person that can take John McCain to the White House, but they underestimated her complete ignorance. I think the country's seen it now.
It was pretty bad, her ignorance. And let me tell you, people thought I was chastising her because she was a woman. I mean, look, the bottom line is that it's not about female, male, gender type of thing here. It's just about, first of all, John McCain should have at least attempted to get the base of conservatives back on his side by vetting a good conservative vice presidential candidate, a proven conservative. But unfortunately, they rolled the dice on the Sarah Palin, and it just completely warped the whole mentality of the Republican Party. And right now, I don't know what the Republican Party is. Do you know what the Republican Party is as far as their ideological principle after this election?
I really think it's going to break loose. I mean, you know, the Republican Party, are they the ones that listen to Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh and Michael Savage? I hope not, because those clowns are still thinking Palin is an acceptable candidate. Come on. It's truly incredible. I think there's a section of the Republican Party that is incredibly conservative fiscally, that wants to hold people accountable and make people work for jobs and earn a living and pay fair taxes and have a reasonable government. And they think that the social issues, some of the ultra-right socialism issues, you know, need to take a little bit of a back seat, at least at first, until we get our fiscal issues under control. We have an $11 trillion national debt with a
I agree.
unfunded liability called Social Security and Medicare. We have serious trouble brewing. I mean, I didn't vote for Barack Obama, and I'm not a liberal and not a fan of liberalism. But we have to get behind this guy at this time because our country is in serious trouble, and the conservatives, the Republicans have tossed it to the dogs. I mean, it's pitiful. I love George Bush. I watched him today, and I almost had to break down because I think the man has a good heart, but he was led astray by some pretty shady characters.
I agree. I mean, look, I voted for the man. I thought the man was a great president for the first 4 years. The last 4 years have been just an absolute unraveling, and it's just been horrible. And I just can't believe that the country has gone this direction because of in my opinion, you know, if we want, I mean, I don't want to have a show about this, but if it comes down to it, it's probably the implosion of so much misdirected advice. I mean, you know, you had so many people with so many different motivations in that administration, and, you know, I just think it overwhelmed the man.
Well, you know, if you couldn't tell already, I have ties to the oil industry in this state. I work in the oil industry. I've spent my entire life in the oil industry. I'm a college-educated guy, graduated from college in '82, and my entire adult life in the oil industry. And there's really only one, and nobody wants to admit it. My own family doesn't want to admit it, but there's one real reason why we're in Iraq, and that's because of oil. There is a lot of oil in Iraq. Iraq has more oil than Saudi Arabia, almost as much oil as Russia. The producers were kicked out in 1986. They took with them all their reservoir technology. This country needs energy. We need energy. George Bush went to Iraq to secure a energy source for us because he knew we didn't have one. We were losing our friends in Saudi Arabia. We were losing our friends in Venezuela, in Russia, and he went to Iraq to secure an energy source. Our country needs to move away from oil.
Well, you know what? Hey, let me tell you something. I'll go with that for a second because I agree that it would have generously benefited our economy in this precarious time had that particular motive that you just said right there been the motive for going into Iraq. But I just don't believe that, because if it was, why are we having $140 barrel oil prices? I mean, why aren't we dictating to the Iraqi parliament that they start producing and either selling it on the world market or giving these barrels of oil to America, and we'll just cut it off their tab? What are we, almost $1 trillion in debt for liberating Iraq? I mean, why aren't we doing something of this nature? While this war, we're spending $15 million an hour on it. It's depleting the integrity of our currency, and you were just talking about the debt. I mean, it's only extending our debt at a dramatic pace. Why hasn't anyone discussed the possibility of drilling in Iraq and telling the Iraqi parliament to give us the oil or sell it on the world market and give us the money?
Yeah, no, you're right. But you bring a couple of questions up there. You know, why did oil go to $140 per barrel, and how can they get it back down? And you know, is Iraq really a big part of that? The $140 a barrel thing is truly money that was coming out of the housing market, money that was being pulled out of the stock market, moved over into the commodities, and speculators ran up the price of oil. Supply and demand didn't. Supply and demand stayed in the 83 million barrels per day. Supply didn't, and demand didn't hardly change in the last year. Demand, it fell, if anything. And speculators ran the price of oil up. But on the other point is, why don't we get in there and start drilling and producing? We're trying to get in there and drill and produce. The Western oil companies of Shell and BP and ExxonMobil and Chevron have been working diligently for the last 3 years to work a deal where they can get in and safely develop the reservoirs. There's 9 reservoirs in Iraq that are equal in size to the largest reservoir in Saudi Arabia. There's as much oil in Iraq as there is, almost as much as there is in Russia. Russia has the most in the entire world. Russia has the most liquid oil reserves. But Iraq, is right there next to them. But the Western oil companies are in there fighting right now. I mean, you know, the company I work for is looking for recruits to go over there and help develop the oil fields. They're looking for engineers and operators and technicians and maintenance technicians and coordinators to go over and start developing the reservoirs. And you know, Iraq oil is close to tidewater. It's only, you know, less than 500 miles from tidewater, so it's easy to get into ships and tankers and get to the to America and all the other oil countries that need oil, obviously. But the reality is there's still a lot of infighting. There's still a lot of danger. Western oil companies might be negotiating with the Iraqi parliament, but they're still apprehensive about getting in there. I mean, and now they see, you know, oil falling in price. Really and truly, I mean, Western oil companies don't have a whole lot to do with the price of oil. They can negotiate contracts with, you know, oil-producing states and countries, but they really don't control the price of oil.
Well, I mean, in a way, the American government could dictate to the Iraqi parliament, which is pumping oil out of there. I know that for a fact. They have a $100 billion surplus. You know, they've been sitting here, you know, capitalizing off $140 barrel oil out here. And I don't understand why these people are allowed to, you know, go ahead and have a surplus and sell oil and capitalize off of Americans' despair. While, with all due respect, we liberated these people, they should at least begin to start paying us back, you know, our debt incurred for liberating these people. I mean, even the English paid us back for World War II. And I think go ahead.
No, absolutely, you're right, and I know Paul Wolfowitz and Dick Cheney, and before Rumsfeld left, they were all negotiating a big payback scheme on when we can start getting Iraqi oil to market, and when we could start paying back the debt, what it costs to liberate Iraq. But I'm not sure if the Iraqi people are going to have any of it. They want us out now. They say basically, hey, you Americans can go home. We'll deal with these Western oil companies, but you Americans can take off. The reality is, as soon as we pull troops out of Iraq in any major fashion, then the Sunnis and the Shias will start going back at each other, and Iran, right next door, will perpetuate another civil war, try to exert their power on the region. This is a continuation of the civil war that's been going on for thousands of years. We just inserted ourselves in the middle of it, throwing around the big democracy word. It's crazy.
Well, you know what? I thank you for the discourse. Do you happen to have a show here on Blog Talk Radio Network?
Absolutely. It's about energy. We have a show we've got a Wednesday rant and a Sunday show, and we've been shunned by Blog Talk Radio. We have an energy show, Siren at blogtalkradio.com. We talk about energy, and our nation needs energy. And really and truly, I mean, just my last point. I know you probably have other callers, but my last point. Our nation currently is spending $10 billion per month to fight a war in Iraq. What if we took that $10 billion per month and developed an alternative to gasoline? And it doesn't have to be a one-faceted alternative. It could just be an alternative, something that we could use to change the way we transport ourselves and our families and our wives back and forth to the grocery store, back and forth to the soccer game, and back and forth, to work. Really and truly, we have the ability as Americans to come up with something new and something different and something that'll work. Let's spend some of our hard-earned money and our energy on developing it, and then we can sell it to everyone else and becomes prosperous again.
I agree, and hopefully that's going to be the new .com boom, or the future, what is the equivalent to the .com boom of the future. Yeah. Hopefully innovation sparks itself, and hopefully we can get some energy going.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's good talking to you. I know you got lots going on, but I enjoyed the rant at the beginning of your show. It made me decide I needed to call. You hit a few chords with me for sure. Conservatives were left out in the cold in this election. Sarah Palin's not a conservative. John McCain wasn't a conservative. Us conservatives, we might have to gather up and hook arms and create our own party.
Absolutely. And I thank you for calling in from Wasilla, Alaska, right?
Yes, sir. Wasilla, Alaska. It's about 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now.
Well, I thank you very much.
Where are you from, Ghost?
I'm down here in Texas.
Oh, right on, Ghost. I was born in... Yep.
Well, I was just going to say, we got that oil connection out there, too. We got a whole bunch of abandoned oil rigs out here. They're still drilling, but it's not as cold.
Yep, I was born in, my early years were raised in South Texas. My parents moved to Alaska in 1973, so I was about 12 years old.
Well, that's great. Thank you for calling in there.
Absolutely, thank you.
Well, you heard it, folks, and that was a citizen of Wasilla, Alaska, believe it or not, sitting there giving us his insight on Sarah Palin. And, I don't mean to be chastising Sarah Palin at this point, but frankly, the Republicans asked for it. Because they sat here and they nominated this woman, all right? No experience, no type of sense, obviously. No type of foresight, political insight, none of that garbage. And you see, this is why the Republicans are going to be here in shambles. They're sitting there not knowing what direction the Republicans are going to go, because the conservatives that you chastised, and I'm talking about all you Republicans, all right? And you can look back in the archives, folks. I was chastised by these Republicans because I called out the Republican Party for the blatant, bloody, liberal, feminist, and I mean, it just disgusted me. I couldn't keep it in. So I dropped the Republican off of the show name. If you look back in the archive in the first shows, the first show name was True Conservative Republican Radio. But I dropped the Republican out of the name because, well, frankly, folks, there's no longer any kind of conservatism in the Republican Party. They gave the middle finger to the conservative movement. And it makes me sick, folks. Excuse me, I'm still trying to get over this flu that I had that got me going. I couldn't even have a show during election night, pre-election night, none of that crap. You know, it's the bad part about, affiliating with a bunch of people that don't know how to damn wash their hands, and they shake your hand, and that's why sometimes I don't even like shaking people's hands. But when you're in business, folks, you got to shake a few hands, kiss a few babies, all that garbage.
The last two episodes of the year, episodes 72 and 73, would air on December 4th and December 10th. As the year came to a close, Ghost would reflect on a painful year of betrayal and heartbreak, believing that the Republican Party had forever abandoned the conservative values he held. With the election of Barack Obama, Ghost feared the rise of a new America, Junkyard America.